Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by Bonnie Schutz, the founder and CEO of Tandem Resource Solutions. Thank you so much for your time today, Bonnie. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, we're going to get to know you and your company a little bit.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Cool. So what do you guys do? What does Tandem Resource Solutions do?
Okay, so Tandem Resource Solutions, we also call TRS, is an administrative recruiting firm for direct placement roles and also a virtual assistant agency. So we are all US based, supporting entrepreneurs and second stage professional services firms.
Nice. Okay, cool. And how long have you guys been running?
We've been in business for 8 years. I had it as a side hustle of my own for 2 years. And I was fortunate enough to leave my corporate position 2 years in and take it full time.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, cool. So what's your story? Why did you start TRS?
Yes, absolutely. Well, without giving too much away, like my age, I was 27 years a corporate executive assistant, and I finally had enough of the corporate world. As an executive assistant, the highest place you can achieve or reach at the time was assisting the CEO of a company, and that's where I was. I found myself wanting more, and the bestie at that office was the recruiter, and so she put the idea in my head that after so many decades, you've pretty much been in every shoe of every type of administrative professional. So why don't you recruit them? So she and I started Tandem Resource Solutions as a recruitment firm, as our side hustle. And we did really well. I mean, not as good as we could. So we started to ask our network and our people that we trusted, how do we make this business work? And the resounding thing at the time was that in order to make it work, we had to give it 100%. And so obviously with both of us having full-time jobs, we couldn't do that. And so I was, again, fortunate enough to be in a place in my life as an empty nester, and married with a husband with insurance, to say, a couple of years in, that I could give it 100%. And I did leave my corporate position. I started Tandem Resource Solutions as, like I mentioned, solely recruiting administrative professionals, but quickly realized I had to do sales. I'm not a salesperson. Sales was a big challenge. And it continues to be, because I am a founder-led sales organization still to this day. I can get into where that's going later, but to fill the gaps in between recruitments, which, if you know anything about that industry, it ebbs and flows. And you make good money on recruitments, but what do you do in between recruitments? All I knew how to do was be an EA. So I'd heard of this virtual assistance thing. And at the time, I didn't really know what it was. It was pre-COVID. And so it was just people working from home. And literally in my head, I thought the only thing I knew about it was that it was a call center in the Philippines. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm like, how do I do that? I can't do that. So I literally went to Craigslist and took a Craigslist ad and applied to be a virtual assistant, and it was legitimate. And so I let it out there to the world. I said, we are not just a recruitment firm. I offer virtual assistant services. And that was, I had a remote role when remote was still novel thing. And I put it out there to the world on LinkedIn that was what I was doing. And I've always made it a practice in my career to never burn bridges and never let go of people that I'm on good terms with. And so I put it out there on LinkedIn that I was doing this, and hordes of people from my past started banging down my doors to work for me. And it was very humbling that they wanted to work for this little old secretary. But I was welcoming it in. I thought, wow, if I could do this, and support so many different people in different parts of their lives, that maybe I've been in at times. And so the wheels were turning. I'm like, yeah, let's do this thing. So now I
Yeah.
have an agency of virtual assistants across the U.S.
Yeah.
Um, only US based. And that's pretty attractive to most. Um, Many people go with offshore VAs, and that's absolutely fine. So
Yeah.
there is a demographic for our servicers in the US based realm. And
Yeah.
so we've been pretty successful in doing both. And um, I really like the fact that my company has grown like
Yeah.
threefold since I started it. I'm just so
Wow.
like shocked still
Yeah.
that it's grown. And so that's kind of where we're at now. And we're continuing to network and learn from other business people. And I'm really now focusing on stepping into my CEO position and stop thinking of myself as an assistant.
Yeah.
And so that's basically where I'm at this point.
That's amazing. That's such a nice
Thank you.
story. Like, it must have taken you so much to sort of quit your full-time job and put your all into it. I mean, you did mention that you were lucky enough to have, the safety net, but it's
Yes.
still terrifying because you kind of just like have to let go of everything that you know. You were an EA for 27 years. That must have been crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. Like, I mean, but it was just like, as you get older, you just start to not care as much about what people think. And I just had to step into that. And,
Yeah.
as scary as it was, knowing I did have, like you said, that safety net and I was in a place where I could do that,
Yeah.
it was scary because
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome was real. Who was I
Yeah.
to say I was now the CEO of a company and be
Yeah.
that poser, I guess, as a CEO after having been the one that supported them for so many years? But
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy at first. I mean, I'm getting a lot better at it now.
Amazing. So do you have an EA? Do you have an assistant?
Funny you ask. So, because I've grown such a large team, whenever
Mhm.
I don't feel like there's something in my business that I either want to do or that brings
Yeah.
me joy or brings us additional business, I delegate it. So currently I
Nice.
have about 5 different VAs on my team doing work for the company in the background.
Amazing. I'm glad that you were able to let that go. I know that's a struggle for
Oh,
people in admin. Like, you're so used to
it
doing your
is.
own stuff, but now that you're in a higher position and you have to delegate, it's like, can I trust you? Because I know I can do it
It took
myself
me a
better
while,
and
and
quicker.
I think that's a great distinction for my company in that I'm right there with our target client. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know how to delegate because I was always the one being delegated to. But boy,
Yeah.
once I took a chance, that's all I do. I'm like, here, you do this, you do. I don't want to do that anymore. You do that. There's always somebody out there that likes to do it. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
messaging that I give when we are talking to potential clients. You may not like doing social media, but I am sure there are people that do. And in fact, there's
Yeah.
people on my team that do. And it's almost everything from bookkeeping to anything. I don't like bookkeeping, so I I sent that off my plate. There's so many things a virtual assistant can do, and which plays great into a side hustle for this whole
Yeah.
purpose of our podcast today,
Yeah.
is the side hustle thing. And
Yeah.
virtual assistants is the industry is growing, and there's so many
Mm,
opportunities out there to make it a side hustle.
definitely. Amazing. Thank you. So what is
You're
the
welcome.
long-term goal for TRS?
Yes. Well, for me personally, I want to get to that 1%. I want to be that 7-figure business,
Okay.
for and women owned business, I shall say. With the
Amazing.
growth trajectory that we're on, I see
Hmm.
that happening, and I'm staying positive and manifesting it.
Yeah.
It's, they say it takes 5 years to get a business to be profitable. I've been
Mhm.
profitable since year one. And
Wow.
so I see it can happen. And so
Yeah.
I suspect in 5 years we'll either be at that number or very close. And I will be supporting, probably, we have about 30 on the team now. I'd say we'll be up to 60. We'll be in
Amazing.
competition with the big guys out there, the big virtual
Yeah.
assistance agencies,
Yeah.
which we're actually slightly in competition with already because of
Mhm.
our affordability. The big guys cost more.
Yeah.
um, and so I think that if I keep the same model and I keep training and learning for myself, on how to step into my role and keep
Mhm.
that delegation as a practice and be able to share with clients how I've learned to do it, we'll just keep being more and more prosperous and offering more and more services.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Well, I mean, I definitely see you getting into that, seven figures. I love that you already know the
Thank you.
trajectory and how far you've come. So, yeah, manifest it. Get it.
I'm
I
doing
don't
it.
see why not.
Yes.
Cool. So, what are some of the challenges that you guys are facing at Tandem Resource Solutions?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, like I think I may have touched on a little bit, it's
Hmm.
sales and growth because we have growing pains
Yeah.
with with how well we've done, which is so horrible. But it's a true pain because it
Yeah.
gets to where, as an entrepreneur, a business owner myself, I get scared that I can't
Mhm.
support what's coming in, and it
Mhm.
got to a place where I literally said to my husband, when can I stop taking new clients? And he said, never. And
Never.
so that made me rethink what I can do. So growth and sustaining that growth and
Mm.
sales outside of a referral base is where we are
Yeah.
struggling the most. And so
Hmm.
um, something I've done this year is really think about what I can do in 24 to help with that. And I'm hoping to bring on a commissioned salesperson, or which could grow to a sales team. That's
Yeah.
not my forte. I do have account managers who are literally promoted VAs.
Okay.
And so, they're not salespeople, but if they could work in tandem, that's our little thing we say. If they could work
Yeah.
in tandem with a true sales team or person, that would be my
Yeah.
goal. And what we're doing for, where we struggle right now with just me trying to handle the referrals and my relationships with the
Yeah.
referrers. I
Mm.
need sales, to happen in a different direction than solely referrals.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, cool. I mean, we definitely do have a talented, pool of salespeople that would love to assist you with that,
Oh,
marketers as well. So that would definitely not be an issue. I just wanted to, touch on maybe some other functions and see if you were interested in there. So, with the Tandem Resource Solutions, are you guys kind of a software, or do you guys like work manually, like person to person? How do you link people to customer companies to virtual
how do we
assistants and things like that?
connect? So we really work on the model as if each each virtual assistant is autonomous. They can work depending on how the client works. And so we
Yeah.
have no set systems that we use other
Okay.
than, what we use on the back end of the business to track our VAs and track our clients in a CRM and things like
Yeah.
that. But each client is different and each
Yeah.
VA can adapt or adjust to whatever the client prefers.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So would you be
Mhm.
interested in listening to maybe some developers that would be looking to sort of develop a software for you to be able to keep all your back end stuff in one place?
Developers, not quite yet. I do
Okay.
know of several tools that the VA industry uses and
Yeah.
that I've been introduced to that I think would
Yeah.
probably work really well. There's an abundance of them. I'm not ready to
Yeah.
get into software development yet. It could be
Yeah.
a thing for us in the future, but right now, not
Mhm.
really.
Okay. All right. No worries. And what about the finance department? So you did say that you don't like bookkeeping, so I'm assuming you outsource the bookkeeping the bookkeeping side.
I
Would you be
delegate to a virtual assistant. Actually, I delegate to our CFO that I is my self-proclaimed
ah,
husband in business. And so he does our bookkeeping now, though. And I do have someone in mind for bookkeeping services. However,
yeah,
that's up in the air on when he wants to
yeah.
step down from that role. So yes, bookkeeping I will definitely be outsourcing at some point, maybe even next
Okay.
year.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time then, Bonnie. It's been lovely chatting to you and getting to know
Thank
Tandem
you.
Resource Solutions. I love, what you've got going on. And I love that you kind of pioneered it pre-COVID. Like everything seems to be
Yeah,
like started after, COVID.
right.
So it's cool that you guys were, ahead of the time.
Yes,
And
that
yeah,
helped.
I really I can't wait to see you on the Forbes list.
Yes. Yes, I hope so. It'll be really scary for me to be out there and that present, but oh boy, I just have to live in it. I have to step in, so I'll get there.
Mhm. Definitely. Get rid of that
Thank
imposter
you.
syndrome. You can totally do
Yes, I have to get over. Maybe I need a few more courses on that.
it. Well, thank you so much again, Bunny, and I hope you have a great day, okay?
You too. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.